Another edition of Riding Home. This time trying to do a little bit better on lighting. Georgia with a 21-14 win over Auburn in a game that really was not close and then became close. Matt, I don't know, you were elevated. You saw a lot more than we did in some ways.
Yeah, I thought the Georgia defense played their best game of the year. They did give up the 2 touchdowns late, but I thought that it was because they were tired. I don't know if you saw that on TV, if everyone watching saw the same thing, but the offense not, staying on the field and getting those crucial 4th downs in the 4th quarter, I think really gassed that defense. They were out on the field a lot, but part of me thought that Georgia was going to shut them out. They had them shut out for 3 quarters. I really thought that they were going to shut them out, but they got a little tired at the end, and the offense has got to get first downs on these drives where they need to. And if Kirby wants to play this game, we're going to ground and pound you, and then we're going to run the clock out. They've got to get first downs at the end of the game and close games out a little better. But I thought the defense played exceptional. Monty Rice led the team in tackles, but the freshman, Tyreek Stevenson with a sack, Trayvon Walker with the game-winning sack. They played great, and the freshmen really stepped up on that side of the ball.
I thought tired, yes, but also they looked deflated, I thought. Just demoralized at the very end, especially after the second touchdown. I think just the look on all of them, they just kind of looking down. It seemed very solemn, I would say.
They stepped up after that, though. Again, Auburn's last 2 drives, they couldn't convert on 4th down. They had the drop pass, but the defense still, forced that. The defense stepped up at the end of the game when they needed to, and the offense couldn't put the game away. The defense did. Almost got the shutout. Had 3 quarters of shutout ball, even against a freshman and Bo Nix, who played a lot better, I think, than people expected. The defense really, really stood out to me again, and that was maybe the best game they played all year, in my opinion.
I don't know. I mean, you start talking about Kirby's post-game deal. He said, how about them fucking dogs? He said it for a reason. I don't know if he was talking to Coach O. I don't know if he was talking to his team. I don't know if he was talking to the national media. He wasn't talking to us. Well,
we talked about before, this used to be a friendly brother type of rivalry. It's not anymore. It's not. Kirby doesn't look at it that way. I don't think Georgia fans look at it that way. Not
after that administrative performance from Auburn today. I mean, when you continue to, we live in a world where concussions are a very serious thing, CTE and so forth in college football, professional football, and you've got a school that's putting up shots of their team hitting another guy in the helmet, repeatedly putting that up.
It wasn't just once.
Repeatedly putting that up. And then not only that, and then you got the Nick Fairley thing, which changed this rivalry completely, and not in a good way.
They played it on the big jumbo screen to get the fans riled up and cheering. And when they see that Nick Fairley hit on Aaron Murray, they all go ballistic.
And knowing Aaron a little bit, if you didn't know, he had stitches soon thereafter. He had blood gushing down. I've never seen a player bleed like that. It was unnecessary. It was a low-class,
almost barbaric
move by Nick Fairley 10 years ago. And to continuously celebrate it shows that the person who is running the Jumbotron has no understanding of, how to act for sure. But it's not that person's fault. It's whoever kept allowing its fault. That is not acceptable.
If you want to call that a highlight, that's really one of the only few highlights Auburn has over Georgia in the past decade.
We're going to continue to put shots to the head like that. Is that really what Auburn is? And after tonight, it's hard to say that it's not. And it's sad to me because there's a lot of good people that have gone there and come from there and so forth. It's a great atmosphere. I can't get past it because it's not a responsible visual that you want to show. I'm trying to think of the last time a Georgia player had just a vicious targeting. James Cook last year against somebody.
Yeah.
It would be like them re-showing that over and over again. Thankfully, they did not show the Reggie Bush hit from 2000, Reggie Brown hit from 2004. Now, I'm going to let that go as much as I can in this conversation, but there's got to be adults in the room, and there were not adults in the room. That was not okay.
Getting back to the game, because I don't think people on TV, they didn't see that.
No, you couldn't
what
see
we saw
it.
at the game.
But on the, that's not what Auburn has always been. Yeah. And the other thing too, back to the Jumbotron stupidity, you know, you're sitting there and you're stopping the play as it appears that your guy has got possession of the ball, knowing half a second later he is juggling the ball.
Right.
And yet you are gaslighting your own fans with this straight up stupidity.
Lying to them.
They were totally lying to their fans.
Where I was, I didn't see that he bobbled it. From
He clearly bobbled it.
He definitely
and so I'm looking at the Jumbotron trying to figure it out, and they didn't show the bobble.
No, they wouldn't go further. I mean, it was like state-run television
until the very, very end.
It was 1980. It was 1984 state-run television.
Auburn fans, your institution is lying to you.
Well, they were lying on multiple replays tonight, and it's just like, you know, is that like? And if you're Georgia, like, you're in bed with these guys. You are in the SEC. You are in that cartel. You are making a lot of money with these guys. But those are your, you know,
They do things different at Auburn. And,
well, would that happen in Florida? I cannot possibly imagine that Florida would re-show over and over and over again Aaron Murray getting targeted. Getting hits to the head, whether the targeting was called or not. I can't imagine that they would do that. Would they do that in Tennessee? I've never seen them do that at Tennessee. At South Carolina, I've never seen that.
Auburn's a different school with that
But
type
that's
of
bullshit,
stuff.
man. I mean, it's just saying Auburn's a different school. This is new. It's not okay. Yeah. It's not okay.
The guy who didn't get hit tonight was Jake Fromm. I think he was sacked one time.
Yeah.
It was a bad one, though, wasn't it? It was on third down.
I didn't think it was that bad. I was just like, all right, go punt. Going to punt's no big deal.
Again, we've talked about it all night. We'll talk about it again since we're recording, but the numbers weren't great for Jake Fromm. But the thing that stood out to me the most, everyone was talking about this Georgia offense settling for field goals. When they got into the red zone today, they put in the end zone. They didn't settle for field goals. We didn't see Rodrigo out there. They didn't get into the red zone often, but when they did, they put it in the end zone, and that obviously went a long way because they won by a touchdown at the end. But
what was Gus Malzahn taking a timeout there before the half? I turned.
He wanted the ball back.
Yeah, but they had. I get that, but it was 2nd and 5, and he called a timeout. It's like, why are you calling a timeout right then? Kirby said after the game, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I don't know, man. 2nd and 5.
I don't think Kirby would have called that, and I don't think anyone would have complained if he didn't call the timeout.
You want to let Jake Fromm get rolling? Because he gets rolling before these halves.
Straight up, yeah. This season they have been solid.
Really good before the half.
2 minute before the half.
That's that Patriot offense.
Well, what are you doing? Like, why are you calling a timeout? You were in control. Well, Auburn. When they got that 14th point, I mean, the game wasn't over, but it was like, well, Auburn's in trouble now.
When Georgia went up 21-0, I think everyone in the stadium thought the game's over.
It was.
The game's over. And it should have been.
Some people started leaving.
They did.
Yeah, I took video of it up there. They were all leaving, grabbing a snack, whatever they were doing. But they were leaving in between the third and fourth quarter. A lot of people did leave the stadium.
I don't blame them. They were down 21, and as it turns out,
2006 they left at halftime. I was there for that game.
Well, that was a beating.
And
this was a physical win for Georgia, but it wasn't just a out of the blue. What in the world just happened? Deal. But I mean, the offense. You want to talk about the offense and be critical? I mean, I thought I think you have the ability to be critical of them. I mean, but the question is, from here on out, so Georgia will play in the SEC championship game. I think LSU can still not go technically. But
out of here with that. Out of here.
Arkansas left.
Arkansas is on and over.
Arkansas is no Kennesaw State.
Oh, give me a break. The Owls,
but they are
roll over the Hogs.
You look at what's going forward here, and I'm dismissing Georgia Tech. You got to deal with Texas A&M.
Wait, all right, let me stop you. You're dismissing Georgia Tech, but you will not dismiss Arkansas here?
It's going to be Georgia LSU.
All right, so it'll be Georgia and LSU. Who's the best defense Georgia will face from here on out? A&M?
From here on out? Probably A&M.
Okay.
Auburn's defense was the best they've seen all year, and it
probably
will be the best they've seen.
Well,
and
they're not
they
better.
The playoff.
Or the playoff. I mean, are they better than
Florida?
Is Auburn?
I think Auburn's defense is better than
Auburn's defense is definitely statistically better than Florida, and just generally speaking, I think tonight was better. I mean, how are we grading Clemson? Like on a curve? Like, what do we know? I think their defense is pretty good, but it's
really
so
good.
hard to tell.
Really
like, and then are we likewise on a curve with Ohio State?
Maybe a slight one with Ohio State. I mean,
Why?
Clemson needs because Clemson needs a big one. They played the second best team in the ACC today and won. Matt, what was
I don't think they're the best team. Well, they got
Second
Wake
best.
Forest.
Second-
got their
no,
ass
Wake-
kicked
no,
Wake
by-
Forest is
It's
probably the
it's
second
technically-
best.
I don't think so. They
I
got
think
drilled by
record-wise-
Virginia Tech last week, and they got drilled again by Clemson. It wasn't. I mean, I don't think Wake Forest.
There's
is
no
any good
ranked. There's
still.
no ranked team in the league.
Right.
So it's kind of like, what are we supposed to do with Clemson?
Yeah.
You know, but they only allowed 3 points against A&M. I think. No, 10.
Yeah, I think, but they got garbage time touchdown.
It don't matter. I mean, we
Venables
gotta
can coach that defense.
we gotta call it what it is. I mean, it was 10 points. So when you should get past A&M, and then you look at Tech.
Georgia needs to take Tech's face, rub it in the dirt, and keep it there. They need to blow Tech out. This should be the biggest margin of victory Georgia's ever had in the rivalry. That's how
it's
bad
gonna be hard to
game
do. That was a 52-7 beating in 2002. Yeah.
JT Wall got a couple touchdowns, I think. There, yeah. They could do that again this year, though. They almost did it last year. They took their foot off the gas pedal. It was 35-0 at halftime last year.
When you're looking at LSU's defense, you're just like, your eyes got to be wide open. Yeah. Georgia will score on them,
and they'll score on Georgia.
They should score on Georgia, but it does make you wonder if we saw the best two defenses in the league tonight, which we did, and LSU only scored 23 or 4, I think it was 23, against Auburn. I think Georgia's got a real crack at LSU. LSU, I think, is probably the best or the second best team in the country, but Georgia's got a real crack at them just because of the style of play and the matchup. Georgia's not like everybody else in this thing right now. I mean, you're looking at what happened with Tua and Alabama. It's going to be hard to really convince yourself that Alabama should belong in the playoff if their best player, their Heisman contender, is not going to play, which is tremendously sad. But Georgia is the left-handed player here. They're the one that is not like everybody else, and you're going to have to defend them. How do you do? I mean, like, what I mean is, you're going to have to deal with the left-handed thing. That's not going to be a lot of fun.
I think Georgia might have the best defense in the country. I can't think of another team.
Ohio State and Clemson have very good defenses.
Oh, we don't know if they're better than Georgia's because Georgia's played better offenses than they have.
We know Georgia has we know how good their defense is. What we don't know, and I don't want to be a total dismissing anything that is wrong with the Dogs on. I mean, what is the likelihood that they could put it together on offense? See, I think it's still there.
Especially against a team like LSU,
yeah, I think
where the opportunities will be there.
Jay Fromm is correct on that front, but then if you get to that they got to championship game. That game's going to be 80% Georgia people.
I still think the offense has a lot to work on. Now, we're 10 games in now, and they're still having trouble scoring 30.
Well, they've had a rain game, they've had a 4-turnover game, they've had the Gators, and they've had Auburn. Now, that's not excuses, that's explanations. The point is, now against Texas A&M,
if they got to
score 35.
They have to score points.
They will, but I think they will. They will. Tony Blaylock back there in punt return.
He's been great.
But is he gonna return any?
He's returned some.
But I mean,
it's not like they've got a whole lot of. He's not Isaiah McKenzie back there.
As long as he is not dropping those punts,
I agree.
That is the biggest thing.
He's not Damian Gary. A little flashback there.
The thing about it is, man, like this offensive line, it's hard to get pressure on from. And when Cager's in the game, Georgia's a very different offensive team, it feels like. I don't know why he is that big of a deal.
I mean, that's Fromm's go-to guy. It's the guy he trusts the most. But he's going to have to open it up a little more and throw in the middle of the field. He loves those passes.
His tight ends
one-on-ones out on the outside, and they've got to open it up more.
But the tight end's got to be more dependable, man.
Yeah.
Get creative. Put someone else in a position to make a play over the middle. It doesn't have to be these slow, not super athletic tight ends in the middle. You got to get creative and get some guys over the middle of the field. George Pickens was the first touchdown against Missouri, deep open in the middle of the field, and Fromm went to him. But
I'm going to write about this on Sunday. It's Sunday right now. Let me rant about the Auburn experience real quick. It's 3 hours from Athens. It really doesn't make sense to get a hotel room. This is the longest day. It's 1 o'clock in the morning right now. We're in downtown Atlanta. You just kind of, you can't win.
It's a 3:30 game. Could you imagine if this was 7 or 7:30? I mean,
yeah, I could. We would still be at the stadium. Yeah. We would have to stay somewhere.
Yeah.
And you could, but you can't because Noonan is jammed. But if you're Georgia, you have the capability over these next 20 days to build towards the LSU game. Now, Kirby's going to do this whole thing about we're worried about A&M.
And they should be. A&M's a solid team.
They can lose to Texas A&M.
Is it going to close practice all week for A&M?
Yeah, I mean, that's my question.
I bet they'll have one day open.
But you
can't overlook the Aggies.
I don't think so. I don't think they will. I do not think they will. But
home game,
3:30, another national spotlight. But they have the capability here, essentially, to work on free throws for 3 weeks with their offense. And I thought Swift was so close to busting one a couple of times tonight.
He had a good game, still went over 100.
Did
he get to 1,000? You said
tonight.
He got to 1,000?
Yeah, he's at 1,000 yards, man. He's at 1,000 yards for the season. That's 100 a game.
They still got 4 games left.
Yeah, minimum. Are you going to handle that? They just need to function. They need to just continue to work on the offense. It's there.
But they haven't clicked.
They have not clicked
all year.
No, they haven't. And
is it a coordinator situation? Is it Jake Fromm? Is it the receivers? Is it a mix of all three? I think that's kind of what
the answer to that is yes. Yeah. Because if you're Jake and you lose your top 5 guys. That's
plus your leading rusher. I think was Elijah Holyfield the leading rusher.
I can't recall.
I think it was Swift, but it wasn't by a large margin. I think they both went over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
So you're losing a 1,000-yard rusher.
I'm glad Brian Harrian's okay because he had that. Watch that. That poor girl that got hit. I call her a girl. I really shouldn't call her a girl, but she's a college student, and she got popped hard, and. Everybody on the sideline was just like, because that could be you. You could get popped like that. You got to watch it, man. And Brian tried all he could to avoid it. And when he was trying to avoid it, it seemed to me like
made it worse.
Like there was just but there was nothing you could do. There was nothing anyone could do.
She didn't have a lot of room to really bail. I know it's kind of what you're supposed to do.
I hate when people stand. I don't hate when TV people stand behind me. I hate when Joe Fan stands behind me, or when the redcoat morons roll the xylophones out there, and you're like, "Hey,
that is the most annoying shit."
I know, dude. That is really dangerous. Move that from behind me. And they're like, "What's the deal?" I'm gonna be like, "Did you?" And from now on, I'm gonna be like, "Did you see the photographer that about had her head knocked off?"
I could do away with the bands altogether, college and high school level. Get rid of them all.
They come out there with like 7 minutes left in the half too.
Redcoats?
Yeah. It's like, just wait a second, man. Go back. Go away.
It's like a land grab. That's the real issue. Is those xylophones can be pushed further down. My issue is not the red coats.
It's
My
the
issue is
xylophones. It's the damn
man.
xylophone.
Do they need xylophones in the band?
Oh yeah, you gotta have the xylophones. And by the way, what was that halftime deal tonight?
The Auburn girl?
The fire?
Yeah.
That
Did you
was
see
pretty
that?
cool.
The Georgia girl.
Cool.
She had these like fire torches.
Oh no, I know the Georgia. No, I'm talking about the special performer for Auburn.
Oh, I didn't care about that. It was
that woman in the dress type of deal?
She was doing a Jefferson airplane.
Oh, I have no idea. I wasn't paying any attention.
Yeah, she didn't have fire torches.
What happened with the fire deal?
I guess they do that every game. The girl
not every game.
twists the fire up in the air with the batons, and she catches them, does a little twirl. Yeah, give me one of those girls all day over the band. I'm not a big fan of
Well,
the
they
band.
can't be out there without the band. Though,
Yeah, they can figure it out. I'm not a band guy.
Oh,
not a band guy. But
I'm not a xylophone person with it behind us. I think that's extremely dangerous, and tonight showed you why it can be dangerous. Where she could have bailed out, I just like, no. I mean, like, there's nothing. I've been hit once. Isaiah Crowell, 2011. Georgia goes up on South Carolina 38 to whatever the score was, 34.
Crazy game.
So he runs me into the hedges. That's the only time I've ever been that. So I learned you can't be that close to the hedges. So whenever they bring these xylophones around, these non-padded xylophones, just straight metal, you just know, hey, look, this is not going to work for me. This doesn't work for us. But she's been released from the hospital. She took a shot straight to the head.
Yeah, she wasn't moving.
It was frightening. She did not move.
She wasn't moving after that for a little bit.
And it's I don't know. Can I do these HOV lanes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We are
you know where you're
a
going,
high
right?
occupancy vehicle, baby. We have 3 people in here.
What were you gonna say?
You know where you're going?
I know where I'm going.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Atlanta. I know this.
But that specific
I know where we're going.
Any other thoughts on the game before we start rambling on about something else? I mean,
that Tom Blaylock touchdown was really good. And now I think it was
Garris Jackson nearly missed a freak show touchdown.
Yeah, he's
That
a
was
good
an awesome
player.
play.
Glad he was able to
barely
have some
missed
opportunities there.
the Blaylock touchdown was 52 yards.
I thought they weren't scared. It was 50-something. They were not scared of all. They wanted to hit it deep on Auburn. But they didn't keep going down the field.
That was the only one.
No.
I know. I think there was another one at Cager. There was another one at Cager, but it didn't get completed.
And yeah, there was. But that one pass ended up being about half of Jake Fromm's yardage. I think he had 110 yards.
Counts.
passing.
It was a beautiful throw. I mean,
What's that?
It definitely does.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. Other than that, he had like probably 50. 60.
He's still the guy who wants
400 yards before. I mean,
he still wants to check it down if that's the right move. And why would you not want to check it down to Brian Harrier and DeAndre Swift either? So, I mean, if I might dump it off to him instead of throwing it into a guy who may be covered, maybe make the catch, I'd probably dump it off underneath too.
I mean, Cager it was just a little bit off throw from Jake, or that would have been a touchdown too, because Cager had those guys beat. Mm-hmm. Anyway, back to the Kirby thing. By the way, the audience should know on YouTube that Auburn's setup, Dylan now has proclaimed as the worst in the league.
Worst? I haven't dealt with every place in the SEC.
LSU was not good, but
No,
Auburn.
Missouri was bad too.
Yeah.
But this sucked. This just sucked. It was
the problem.
horrible.
I kept having to wipe the camera because it was so humid in there, and it was fogging up the lens. I was like, "What is going on in here?"
They should just do it outside. Straight up, they should just do it outside instead of doing it in a janitorial closet. Stupid.
Auburn, Alabama, man.
Also, just the hot dogs.
Here we go.
I made the dumb decision of having a hot dog.
I knew to stay away from those things.
I had one, and it didn't work out super well for me.
I feel horrible.
And what happened? I mean, we had to change the car tire. We had to change the tire in the car.
Flat tire today. It's been an evening for sure for the Dawg Post Crew.
How are y'all riding home on a spare tire?
We are in downtown Atlanta.
Chris helped us out a lot with that deal. Chris Collins, we appreciate you on that deal. Yeah, we're right by Tech. We'll be here in a few weeks. Well, 14 days.
Take over the varsity.
What time do you think that game will be?
It's a nooner.
No, it's definitely a noon game.
So you go ABC noon or ESPN noon?
ABC.
Because something that goes straight against Ohio State, Michigan. That game
has
might.
The past few years.
I know, but that game might get 2 million viewers, and that's it. Wait, no, I can stay here.
Yeah, you're getting there.
I don't know, man. I thought they really played pretty well, generally speaking.
I thought it was going to be a blowout.
It almost was a shutout.
Fourth quarter.
It was almost a shutout. I could tell in the first. You could tell in the first quarter. Okay, Georgia's better. The question is, how long is this going to take? And it took about 2 quarters, I guess. Would they go at 21-0?
At the end of the third quarter is when they had.
Well, I'm not going fast enough.
I got the seatbelt on. We're good.
It's okay.
Oh, thank God.
Last second, yeah.
You got your seatbelt on.
I'll play around. Actually.
Well, of course, we are in the HOV. If we didn't have 3 people, we would be getting pulled over.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, man. I mean, you could tell that they were the better team and that it was only a matter of time. But
they really let Auburn get back into it.
They did.
I thought the onside kick, they almost had.
I said they're going to do an onside kick here. I mean, there's only 10 minutes to go.
Their guy clearly touched it, and I saw that from the top.
Kirby was like, no, this is bullshit. Yeah. And he knew. He went right to it. Did he challenge it, or did they review it?
They reviewed it.
But he was like, he pointed the other way, and he goes, that's our ball.
Yeah. What was the issue with it exactly?
He blocked the guy that was trying to get the ball. I mean...
But they touched it first, then Tom Blaylock touched it and didn't hold on to it, then they fell on it.
But the penalty was that
an illegal block?
Yes, essentially. Okay. You can't just go take guys out.
Right.
You got to go get the ball.
It's a great kick. It's a great kick.
Here's a playlist. Georgia Auburn. Make sure you subscribe. I had a lot of subscribers here today. That's it.
Join us.
1:15 a.m. I think we're done.
Yeah.
I just want to sleep.
Night.